So what we're going to do here is configure our second analog output on the DeltaV system for doing the split ranging on two valves. Currently what we have is a PID loop that's already pre-configured in the DeltaV system, but only has a single analog output. We want to configure a second analog output, so we're going to drive two valves through two cables from one controller. So first what we need to do is activate or enable the card, the actual channel on that I/O. So looking at exploring DeltaV right here, in the corner we see controller number 1, which is our controller, and under here we see I/O. We happen to have 7 cards plugged into that rack, the I/O rack. Now our standard analog output is card 6, channel 1. And in fact, if we expand card 6, we see the first 6 channels of that card are showing up kind of in a brownish yellowish color here. That means it's activated. Channel 7 and 8 are showing up as gray. That means they're not activated. No one's using them. We could, if we wanted to, use one of those. I'd rather use one of the analog outputs on a totally different card. And our totally different card in this case happens to be card number 3. So looking at this, we expand card 3 and notice how all of these here are showing up as gray. None of them are enabled yet. So we want to take channel 1 and enable it. Now one of the handiest things you'll find in the DeltaV system is the functionality of the right-click button. You can access a whole lot of stuff just by clicking with the right-click button on what you see here. I'm going to hover over channel 1 and right-click, and when I do that I pull up a dialog box here and it says, alright, properties. I want to go to properties, and here's where I get to enable that channel. The little box I click that says enable. It's an analog output channel, and it says channel type. This is kind of a neat feature here. We can either go analog output or heart analog output. If I stay with analog output, it'll work. It'll drive 4 to 20 milliamps out, but I won't be able to use AMS to access any of the heart functions of that positioner. If, on the other hand, I have a smart positioner and I want to be able to talk to it using AMS, I have to go the heart analog output channel. At this point, I'm not sure which valve you want to hook to which output, so I'm just going to leave it plain old analog. You can always come in here later and change it if you wish. It's enabled. I now click OK, and notice here that shows up in color now instead of being all grayed out. However, you also notice we have some blue triangles and question marks. We just made a change. We have to download that change. So I'm going to go over here to card 3, right click, and say download analog output card. Do I want to download? Absolutely I do. We let Duncan do his thing. And I can go over here and try updating the status. Yeah, it looks like I still got... Oh, okay, they all went away. One of the things about DeltaV is sometimes it doesn't clear out the blue triangles when it should. You have to go up to the higher levels and say update status and make sure that nothing else has to be downloaded. So right now I've just downloaded that change. Card 3, channel 1 is now activated. I have that one analog output ready to use. So that's our first step in getting our split range system to work. The next step is going to be to go into the actual module and work with function blocks and show it how to send the signals to those two channels.